I want you to leave with this idea that wisdom must come before war, strategy before struggle. It's a decision. Hey, everybody, I'm Dr. Martin Williams. What I do is I help purpose-driven leaders discover, develop, and deploy their divine assignment so that they can reign in life on the earth without losing who they are. And in this session, what's most important to me is that I want to mentor you. I want to show you how royal decisions are made. If you're a king or queen, it's all because of how your head works and the decisions that you make cognitively on purpose. Let's deal with this with the idea of wisdom before war. Now, when I say war, I'm not talking about going out and doing something to someone else. I'm talking about being warlike as a king to capture territory that belongs to you. Business, relationships, money, opportunities, open doors. Wisdom becomes so important before you go to war, before you go to work on something else. Let me explain it this way. The difference between good decisions and a God decision is wisdom. Wisdom changes everything. Wisdom is not just knowing what to do, it's knowing and understanding how to do it. Wisdom is heaven's perspective before earth's reaction. What is my headquarters of my kingdom? What does it require of me? So most kings lose battles, not because of the size of their enemies, but because of the shallowness, the emptiness of their insight. I'm talking about me. Am I talking about you? Or am I talking about you? Here's a question I have for you. Looking you close in your eyes. What battles have you lost? What battles have you lost because you didn't have the right wisdom? You didn't know what you were doing. You didn't know, you pulled the lever, but you didn't know what it would affect. You hadn't thought it through. You hadn't counted up the cost. You didn't walk into war to go do something. You didn't walk into it with wisdom. Not what to do, but how to do it. That's wisdom. That's what changes everything. Wisdom makes everything work better. Solomon was offered, amazing story. Solomon was offered everything. I'll give you anything. Whatever you ask me for, I'll give it to you. Can you imagine that? If that question was asked of you, how would you answer it? Solomon answered it like this. Solomon said, you give me anything you want. So Solomon said, I want to know how. I don't just want to know what to do. My dad, David, was amazing. I think I know what to do. How do I do it? Give me wisdom. And this is what happened. He got wisdom, but with wisdom, he got everything else. He got the money, he got the relationships, he got the kingdom, he got everything else because he had wisdom. Same thing with you and me. Once we have wisdom, we get the money, we get the relationships, we get the opportunities, we get the sales, we get everything when we have wisdom. Wisdom changes the entire game for me and you. He didn't ask for money. He didn't ask for power. He didn't ask for fame. You shouldn't either. You should ask for understanding. Ask for wisdom. Wisdom became the gift that came before wealth. Wisdom became that discernment before dominance. Wisdom changes everything. Pay attention to who you're listening to. Pay attention to who's around you talking in your ear. Pay attention to which books you read, what the people you follow, because that's where your knowledge is going to come from. That's where your understanding is going to come from. It's going to come from those relationships, what you're reading, what you're listening to, who you're spending your time with. Here's an amazing insight that you might use. Foolish kings fight without foresight. They go into battles before they've thought about what this battle is going to be. David never fought Goliath without calculating the covenant first. He went into this fight, and that's all he talked about. Before David got into the fight with Goliath, he wanted to know, who is this man defying Israel? He wanted to know, what do I get for fighting him? He wanted to know, he made a decision about what weapons he would use. He only used the weapons that he was gifted in. He played on his own terms. He calculated the covenant. This guy is coming against the God of the universe. So no matter what I do, I think I'll win. But the best way that I win is I use my gifts, my skills, my calling, my talent. It's a slingshot and other people may not like it, but it's what I use. You get what I'm saying? So Jesus never entered conflict without confirming his assignment. I'm here for an assignment. That's the understanding he has. Question to you, what is your assignment? If you don't know that assignment, you need coaching. You need someone to help you figure out what that is, because every decision you make is either in alignment with that assignment or it's not. And wisdom gives you the advantage before the war even starts. Before one shot of the arrow, before one shot of the cannon, you know exactly what you're into. You know exactly your strategy. You know how to do it, and you win most of the time. And at the end, you win, period. That's the idea. So before explaining your business, before explaining what your business is, before you explain what your ministry is, before you explain what your influence is, you're an influencer, ask God for wisdom. Ask God for wisdom. Ask your mentors for wisdom. Ask your coaches for wisdom. Because strategy must become the first thing of your strength, or you'll waste energy fighting unassigned battles. You're not assigned to that battle. You're not assigned to that battle. A question for you. A question for you. Do you know what battle you're assigned to? Do you know what assignment is really yours that nobody else can do like you? It's your lifelong assignment. Do you know? Once you know what your battle is, stay out of other battles. Don't take on fights you're not anointed for, called for. It's not in your bailiwick. It's not your assignment. It's not your cause. It's not your reason for being here. Avoid those. You can follow and help other people where that's their assignment. Stick to yours. Am I clear? Because when you stick to your assignment, you win your battles. Martin, what do I do with this? What do I do with this? Do I seek wisdom, or do I want to win arguments? This is just an application for your life. Do you want to seek wisdom, or do you just want to be fussing with people all the time? Having arguments and defending yourself and trying to prove yourself and trying to make sure everyone else understands who you are and what you're supposed to be doing. What a waste of time and a waste of your decision-making skills and gifts. What do you care about what they care about? You got to care enough about people that you only care about your assignment. If you care about me, do your assignment. If you care about the loved ones in your life, the employees you have at your business, the team that you play on, if you care about them, do your assignment with wisdom, right? You can also ask yourself the question, do I move by revelation or by reaction? So many of us are just reacting to life. We're not moving by revelation. We're just reacting to everything. And every minute of the day, we're changing because we're reacting to what's happening out there. A wise king counts the cost before declaring war. You're a real king. You're going to know what it's going to cost you before you go to war. You're going to know if you win. You don't win the war when you go to war. You win the war before you go to war, because you know it's your war. You know it's your business. You know it's your opportunity. You know this is the right relationship. That's what I mean by war. I'm not talking about killing people or taking anything from anyone else. I'm talking about you and your personal territory, your assignment. It is before declaring war, wise kings count the cost. So here's what I want you to do here. And I want you to respond to this. If wisdom were the only thing standing between you and your next level, what would you start asking God for today? If wisdom was the only thing standing between you and becoming wealthy, between you and growing a big business, between you and growing a family, between you and getting your health back, if wisdom was the only thing standing between you and your next level, what would you be asking God? What would you be asking coaches? What would you be asking prominent friends? What would you be asking them for today? What advice would you be reaching out to them for? Use that advice and do something with it. Subscribe to this channel and go ahead and watch the next video.